I have a buddy who I met in my apartment complex who owns a pretty large coffee shop based in London. I think they're at like 120 to 130 locations right now, maybe closer to 150 at this point. The company's worth well over $500 million. And a while ago, I was talking to him, and this is when we first met. And we were working out, and in between sets, I was asking him, how he got started, how this company grows so big. He was like, "Yeah, at first it kind of started with a little cart, and then we moved into a location, and then we moved into, we grew to 2 locations, and then 5 locations, 10 locations." And then I was like, "Yeah, no, I get that, but like, I think I'm curious to know how you went from 1 location to 2 locations, because I think that's like the biggest jump a business can make. Most mom and pop shops only like probably 99% stay at 1 location." I was like, "How did you make that jump?" He was like, "Bro, honestly, it was simple. Once we had the model down, we just, at that point, just duplication. The location was profitable." That conversation happened a year and a half ago, and I still think about it to this day. You see, one of my biggest takeaways from that is that he said nothing crazy. It wasn't nothing crazy smart, nothing that I've never heard before. In fact, it was the most obvious advice that someone could possibly give. He literally told me, if the thing makes money, do more of it. I think in this day and age, it's probably more important than ever to listen to that advice. Basically, if the thing makes money, if it has an ROI, then you just need to do a lot more of it, in a ridiculous amount more. I think most entrepreneurs, myself included, most especially, get into this optimization trap. See, I do cold email, which is probably the most, in my opinion, one of the cheapest ways to acquire clients at scale. And I remember this one time about a couple months ago where at one point I was seeing like a 50 times ROI, meaning I put $1 in and it spits out $50 back. And I remember tinkering with the system to try to basically get more for what I'm putting in. Write better emails, get better conversion rates. And at a certain point, I had to stop myself. I'm like, dude, what am I doing? What's the difference between 50 ROI or 50 times return on investment and 60 times return on investment? I'll give you the answer. It's not much. In fact, even if it was instead of 50, in fact, if I was getting a 10 times return on investment or a 5 times return on investment or even a 3 times return on investment, there is no reason why it shouldn't scale it. I think people get so caught up in trying to optimize something when they really should be maximizing something. I mean, crap, like businesses are solid if they have like a 5 times return on investment within the year. So that's the biggest lesson I've taken from, or at least one of my biggest lessons from my buddy who owns this massive company. I think he's a great guy, very intelligent, but that was the most simple advice he probably could have given me. And it's probably changing my life.